Hello everyone, welcome. A lot of things happening today. Today is Wednesday, the 1st of November. Guilt, someone said, is the difference between what your soul, or your spirit, or your conscience tells you to sing out and what our lack of courage prevents us from doing. I just heard, I was listening to George Galloway, his show he has a show on Wednesdays and Sundays, the mother of all talk shows, talking about what is happening in this second war. And he, first of all, he said that there has been another church destroyed by a missile. And this particular one is a Catholic church, as it happens, and is the Church of the Holy Family, and it has been shelled. This is the second church, the second Christian church. The first one, you remember, was, I think it was an Orthodox church, and the third oldest church, Christian church in the world, and that was also destroyed. He said something else, because he has been with this the Palestinian problem, dealing with this and working with it for a very long time, George Galloway. And he said that back in 1980, as far back as 1980, he was once visiting Palestine, and he saw the people were already in a very bad state. And he went there accompanied by a member of the United Nations. This is 1980. And he saw Israeli soldiers looking on to, they had made Palestinian women clear up the rubble that I suppose bombs had caused, and on their knees made to clean up the rubble with toothbrushes. And they stood there, and they just looked. And I remember, I think I shared this with you once, talking about something else. I remember that about a year ago or so, I watched a video by Jordan Peterson, in which he was talking about, I think this was a talk he gave at the University of Cambridge. I think I commented on this, but the two incidents are connected, because he was remarking on the fact of the cruelty of the German guards in the late 1930s, that were making the people there, the Jewish people there in the concentration camps, made them work, very already old people, half starved, half dead, carry sacks of salt on 100 kilos. That was the weight. Having to carry them from one end of the concentration camp to the other. And it was not just a short distance, it was like a city, he said. And then when they got there, made them bring it back. And I commented this, I think, on another video, and Dr. Peterson was asking, I would like to know, because I am a human being, and the guards were laughing at these poor men, were also human beings, I would like to know what happens inside their mind to make an old person, half-starved, do this. Just for fun, I suppose. And he wanted to explain that. He wanted to get into what made human beings be so cruel. And the reason why I mention it again is that this incident of not carrying 100 kilo bags on their backs, but women on their knees having to clear the rubble with toothbrushes, and the Israeli soldiers looking at them and not caring, it's kind of the same thing. And but nevertheless, Dr. Peterson reacted differently this time. He actually sent a tweet at the beginning of this, saying a tweet to Prime Minister Netanyahu saying, give them hell. I don't know whether he has connected the two, whether there is a connection. Anyway, I'm really disturbed. You know, I think we're being led by mediocrities with barren souls, who, just because they have material superiority, think that they have that they have superior intellect or superior anything. And what can one say? You know, it's easy to say we have to do something, we have to say something. Well, since I'm doing nothing, I can't really say it. But I am concerned because if we don't make a stand, if we don't do something in some sort of way or say something or try to put a stop to these atrocities, I think we'll be suffering ourselves from a certain guilt and remorse eventually. A guilt and remorse that we might be unable to endure eventually. I saw young Jewish people in a video in the New York station there, demanding, they assembled, thousands of them, demanding justice. And these young Jewish people, they're called the Jews for Peace, I believe. And for a brief moment, I had hope. But we will be, unless we do something or somehow contribute to stopping these atrocities, this guilt and remorse will be feeling. And I think we will, for having betrayed ourselves, for having kept quiet, having betrayed our sense of justice, having betrayed our our spirits, our consciences, our sense of justice. Guilt and remorse for every word that we should have spoken out loud and was left unsaid. Guilt and remorse for every demand for justice that wells up in our hearts and conscience, but it's not being given vent to come out. And that inability and fear to speak out and act will turn, I fear, into this little worm, this little rat gnawing away inside of us at our vitals. Guilt and remorse for every shout held back. Guilt and remorse for every demand not demanded. Guilt and remorse for every regret not acted upon. Guilt and remorse for every compromise made every time we look away. And this will all add up to a storehouse of guilt and remorse that will scream out for justice. Because seeing these atrocities, our soul screams out for justice. If not, it will starve and retreat into a little dark and stinking little hovel. Our leaders, instead of acting as protectors, like great statesmen do, are acting as if they were as greedy as upstarts. They look like all narrow-minded people and barren souls. They look upon their own interest and their own interpretation of events, and never examining, it seems, root causes or future consequences. I just wanted to share this with you. I have nothing else to say. What do you do when your heart screams out for justice and it goes unheard anyway? Well, let's all find our own little way of at least not allowing the situation to get worse. Thank you very much for listening. Bye-bye.